Right
with
off
the
the bat.
timely.
I got it again with the white vans.
Yo, I came up on the Instagram feed this week, and I was just like running around the house going, Daniel!
Damn, Daniel.
And they go, oh, gosh. How was the week, man? How's it been since the last time I spoke to you? I guess I should get us into the podcast and then ask that, huh?
I mean,
Doesn't
we
matter.
do this like chitter chat beforehand?
Yeah, well,
Go ahead.
I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to get us going. I mean, I don't know. I feel like a good conversation is going to happen.
Do your thing, big dog.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to another episode of Pro Fishing Fans. My name is Steve, and with me is
Clay Haggard.
Clay.
You know what I realized?
Let's get back into you.
Hey, cheers, my man.
Cheers.
You know what I realized? How come I always say my first and last name, and you only say your first name? We've done that for like 84 episodes now. Hey, 84, Randy Moss. We should have started with 80 because that's when all like
Jerry
the boss
Rice.
ass, that's when all the boss ass bitches came back.
well done. Yes. You know what? I mean, Randy Moss is a good one to start back up with.
He's the best one.
Oh, so how was the week, man? Good week?
Yeah, man. This keto diet's starting to piss me off a little bit. I'm starting to get bored with the diet, but I've been complaining a little bit, and I think I'm just going through that time where I need to like nut up or shut up.
Oh, your body's just craving for that sugar, man.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like my problem today was I looked in the fridge for lunch, and I had a few leftover wings because I make like the full baked wings. And I had a couple left over, and I was like, dang, I'm not trying to get my hands dirty because I was still messing with my draft during lunchtime. And I was like, I don't have anything else. I go, if I don't heat up those wings, I don't eat. Like, I had nothing. No lunch meat. I'm sorry. I had, like, you can buy hard salami, like, in those kind of prepackaged things. But I looked in there. I had, like
the fucking log?
like you can buy like a pack, like a half-pound pack or a pound pack, like pre-cut salami, like the bougie edition.
I'm like, you got a whole log of it?
Yeah,
just chilling.
No, I ain't gonna cut that shit. I know what my time's worth. No, man, but I was like, fuck, I don't got anything to eat, so I was like, I'm not eating. I'm fasting today. So I didn't eat, and then got out of work. I looked in my fridge. I was like, guess I gotta make these fucking wings. I look behind like a Tupperware, and 2 delicious bacon and cheddar hamburger patties waiting to be made. I was like, son of a bitch. Like, I just bought them 2 days ago, and I had the other 2 yesterday, and I just completely forgot that they were sitting there. So I had some, I like to call them ultimate burgers. I grilled up some onions, throw some, a little bit of mayo, some mustard, shredded lettuce, eat it with a fork, man. It's delicious. Onions are growing up. Like, grilling onions are, oh, dude, I'm loving onions.
Take a lettuce. You ever just do the lettuce as a bun? Kind of just wrap it up in there?
Yeah, absolutely. I used to do umwiches from Jimmy John's all the time back when it was right down the street from me. But, like, I think I'm going
to do cold cuts. I can't do cold cuts with just lettuce.
It don't bother me none, dude. I think I'm going to do taco salad, like, one of these coming days because I got some hamburger thawing right now. I'm going to do some taco salad, and I may do some stuffed peppers another day with that hamburger because I'm gonna have to make a couple different things with it. So we'll figure it out. That's my fun story.
What's funny is that, like, you can tell that this has been at the forefront of your mind because you had everything laid out of what like, this is what I'm pissed off about. This is what I have to figure out now.
All I did today, like, because I didn't like turn the TV on, I didn't play video games. Like, I worked, I focused on fantasy football, and I bitched about my diet. Like, that is what my whole day has been. But, dude, I got like, I typically, especially since keto started, when I go and buy meat, I buy like big packs, like family packs of steak, family packs of chicken, family packs of hamburger, because I'm eating so much protein right now that I like to have it on deck. Pull it from the freezer, thaw it out, in a day or two, make it. And typically when I get like hamburger, like those big family packs, I take them all out of the packaging and I put them in freezer Ziplocs. So I have them kind of pre-portioned. Well, I didn't do that when I got this hamburger for some reason. So I have 3.5 pounds of hamburger thawing out. And so in my head, I'm like, all right, buddy, you're having a lot of beef this week. Like, what are you making? So I have to, like, I thought about that earlier, I was like, what? Okay. Cause I was like, hamburger. Like chicken, you can do whatever. You could just grill up some chicken. You could cut up the chicken and do a stir fry. But I was like, hamburger.
Like that shit.
So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I want to do taco salad. For sure. I think I'm going to do the grilled stuffed peppers, but taco salad, and I'm going to do a big meatloaf. Those are two things for sure that I'm going to do. And with my meatloaf, I'll just have asparagus or broccoli or like whatever. Bro, I made a shrimp stir fry the other day. Like, I've never messed with stir fry. I know it's simple. I've just never taken the time to put it all together. And I've been really going outside of my comfort zone as far as like just trying different things. Like, I would normally not be a huge fan of stir fry because I'm like, I'm not the biggest onion fan. I don't care for peppers all that much. Like broccoli, I mess with broccoli hard. Right. I love broccoli, but I did like a whole
snap peas and the motherfucking
I did chestnuts. I did some snap peas. I did. You know what I do love is cabbage. I think I did like
carrot to that joint.
Fourths a thing of cabbage. I didn't do carrots because I wanted thicker cut carrots, like not baby carrots, but like carrot chips, let's call them.
Oh, okay.
Or string, yep. And for some reason, they didn't have the pre-cut carrots.
Right.
And I just was on my way out of the store. I'd already been there for a minute, and I didn't bother to grab normal carrots. That's the only thing that was missing. But I did like peppers, broccoli, snap peas, cabbage, and shrimp.
Are you doing red cabbage or like green cabbage?
Green cabbage.
Look at the Food Network's gonna pick us up.
Welcome to Proficient Chefs. My name is Clay, and with me is
Sous Chef CB Watkins.
Yeah, Sous Chef Watkins. It's Sous Chef Haggard. Chef Clay's going to it though too. All right, enough about my keto diet. CB, how was your week?
It was legit, man. I've been doing projects in the backyard. I spent the last week doing that, especially like really focusing and trying to down because I got redeployed this week. So for work. So yeah, I had to make sure not going to war. And we'd still do the pod even if I did.
Yeah, right. This is CB over in Iraq.
Hey, Clay.
I got a pop filter on my M4. A silencer. I play enough Call of Duty. I know what I'm doing here.
Here's the thing: is now I'm feeling bad because I feel like we're joking about war, motherfuckers really dying. But I mean, it was kind of funny, so fuck them.
I got several friends that have fought military that would be laughing right now. So right. I'm gonna count that as acceptable. If you don't find that acceptable, pour yourself another glass of whiskey and calm the fuck down.
Right.
Supporter. Do what you got to do.
But yeah, so I focused in on that, just really been trying to hang out with the kids as much as possible the past week because of the fact I knew my life schedule is getting ready to change because, I work 10 to 7 right now on the computer here. So it's like, I don't know, a little different. Looking forward for this kind of new change.
Yeah.
To see what happens. And I originally, like I sat there and we're doing the training the way they have you doing training stuff. You got a lot of reading and all that stuff. And I mean, I was sat here on my computer going, oh my God, this is so long. But like I had to pay attention to everything because I'm just like, I'm not fucking this up.
Yeah.
You'll be shit ain't open.
Luckily for you, my man, you get one question. All you got to do is jabber your boy Clay. Hey, man.
Yeah.
I need some help.
Well, that's the thing. So I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I don't know. There's, just because like not knowing what the world is going to be like after, COVID-19. And I'm just like, I don't want to ever take a chance of not having to look for a job without ever having a job. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't fuck up these people's shit the way that we're doing this. And I don't know, definitely been a cool, fun learning experience. And just so everybody knows, any of our customers, we take this shit pretty seriously. So, we're not trying to F you up by any means during this time. So,
sure.
Let's see here. Other than that, man, just been enjoying some news this week throughout the week of sports. I mean, we didn't have much that happened.
I
Did
think we
you
should.
what?
I think we
I
should start it off hot, bro. I do.
started coming hot. Which one you want to rock with then?
I'm trying to talk about last night, right out the
Okay,
gate. Let's do
because
it.
I was sitting there, I was like, there's a
No,
couple hot topics.
let's do it. Let's do it. We're gonna do it in order of the way I typed it out because I just realized that's just
I like
convenient at this point. But no, I got a lot of
Hey,
stuff I want to talk about.
Well, lead the way.
So The Last Dance, they finally premiered episodes 9 and 10 last night. So we finally got to see all 10 episodes of this mega documentary about Michael Jordan and his journey with the Chicago Bulls. And the whole Last Dance directly being involved with that specific group of players and coach, their literal last dance together. And first off, just reactions is from the documentary itself. By far one of the best documentaries of a sports team player that I've ever gotten to watch. I've watched others that I've enjoyed, but this one was special for sure. Even though it's unfair to compare it to others, with COVID going on right now, man, there couldn't have been something more engaging and more exciting to look forward to every week. Not having much else to watch.
Just to interject,
Yeah,
you gotta give Jason Hair. Is that how you say his last name? He's the director of this of The Last Dance, and I just want to he worked his ass off, and to be able to do these last 2 weeks or 2 episodes, they weren't even done, man.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to give a shout out to Jason within this because you're going in, and I just at the top, bravo, Jason, especially when you said that it was very captivating.
Yeah,
so,
killed it.
Go on.
Yeah, no, he did a phenomenal job. Young guy too, which is super interesting to see. This would have been a guy. I didn't do an age check on him, but if I had to take a guess, he grew up watching Mike as a kid, teenage years. Like this dude looked like he was in his 30s, maybe 40s, and I don't think so. And so the reason I say that is, it is obvious that with his passion 43, yeah, so with his passion to be pushing to want to do something like this about Mike and the Bulls, like that's almost past passion. We're almost to like obsessive in the most respectful way I can put it. He just did a phenomenal job. The way he put the doc together. Go ahead. You got something?
Maybe Jordan-esque, might you say?
Oof. Striving for greatness? You crazy son of a bitch, Stevie. But no, man, it was absolutely phenomenal. And, there's so many things that we can say positive about it. I just don't think it could have come in a better time.
Yeah. That's the reason why they rushed it up, because there was no better time for them to basically have the entire world. Yeah. And I don't have the viewing numbers and the streaming numbers of what this show did, but it was like tens of millions of people. If I heard something correct. I hope you're getting that number if that's what you're doing. But to grab that many people at a time when we all want sports, and although what's nuts is you knew a Michael Jordan story. Like a lot of this, you're like, I'm reliving it. You know what I mean? I remember this. There were a lot of things in there that you didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like some of the conversations and what was I listening to? I was watching something where Jason said that when he gave that he went from a big boisterous laugh earlier on, like with the first day of taping, and then like 45 minutes later, they brought up that. I didn't see it on Instagram.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I saw it on. Okay, I saw it on social media.
Oh, okay.
And they were interviewing the director, and he talked about how when he went into this interview with Michael, first time sitting down, within a 45-minute span, they went from belly laughing, like great energy, to Mike stating, the fact that, that's how he plays the game. And if you don't play it that way, then fine. and he got very emotional and called for break.
Yeah.
During that time is basically when Jason Hare, correct?
Yeah, Jason. Yeah.
When Jason, yeah, it's Hehir, guys. So
Yeah.
however you pronounce that. But that is basically when they knew that they were going to have a special documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Technical difficulties, people. So we're back.
We have those once in a while.
So let me because I don't remember where we segued off.
Yeah, we were kind of. I was kind of just going into about how this You brought up the fact that the documentary was perfect for the time, and I was like, it's actually it's definitely made this time like going forward in life. When you think of COVID,
yeah,
in your lifetime, you're gonna remember. Hey, I remember this was a big thing during COVID because I got to watch this great documentary about Michael Jordan that really let me. I mean, already respecting and I grew up with him, you know what I mean? So kind of, that love of who Michael Jordan was and the enigma of a man that he was, it gave you a little bit more insight. And I love the fact of how candid he was about, I am a dick.
Yeah.
But I'm a dick because of, this, that, and the other reason. But it's not like it took me a second, like when you and I first met, and you're quick to rib somebody, right? You're quick to do that. And
wait, you're saying I am?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like you're like, I don't even know you, but I'm gonna rib you. And I'm like, and I was like, this kid, motherfucker, Google me.
Yeah.
So but I mean, like, but he does that with. I mean, of course, he knew Larry Bird for years, and he's known all these guys. But I mean, the fact that he would rib people, and then he would do it it'd be like if you were to ridicule a guy that you work with that you're cool with, but you're like, hey, you suck, dude. You can't do this. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you work buddies and all that shit, and then you're also cool with outside the court. And it's just like I don't know. His whole mentality of how he would attack as a leader threw me for a loop, and that's something I never knew. I just expected, I'm great and you followed, and that's what it was. And that's kind of what it took me a long way to get to this part of it. But to see Michael Jordan and the way that he led his team, and then hearing all the things that you heard about the great Kobe Bryant. There were a lot of similarities there.
Yeah.
And but
so I actually had a question, but you're segueing me perfectly into something that I wanted to bring up. That some people may sit here and argue with, but I think between us it's going to be a fun conversation, maybe a fun debate, and I just want to hear your thoughts on it. So, you talk about Kobe, and I know during the documentary, Kobe, talks about how he idolized Mike, and he actually took that game and expanded upon it. And I mean, a lot of people
made it better.
Dude, he mimics Jordan. His post up moves, his turnarounds, like his fadeaways, like, they're almost a spitting image of each other, which there's nothing wrong with that. So, I was reading some articles while I was waiting for you to get on 10 hours ago. And Michael Jordan, during this interview, he talks about in his autobiography called For Love of the Game, My Story. Michael Jordan quoted, I built my talents on the shoulders of someone else's talent. I believe greatness is an evolutionary process that changes and evolves era to era. There is no such thing as a perfect basketball player, and I don't believe there is one greatest player either. Without Julius Erving, David Thompson, Walter Davis, and Elgin Baylor, there would never have been a Michael Jordan. I evolved from them. And I think he's absolutely correct. When it comes down to it, as much as we love to argue who the GOAT is, where I stand, somewhat biasly, King James. But my point being is, despite how we feel, or despite what we think, whoever the greatest is, I mean, Jordan makes an absolute great point. It's tough to sit here and say there's one distinct great. When it comes to debates, and we're going to use Kobe Mike, or we're going to use LeBron Mike, it doesn't matter. Those three, in my opinion, right now are going to be core of most people's arguments. And we're going to use basketball because that's what we're talking about. And a lot of people will argue era makes a difference. Which Mike kind of touches on that. He accepts the fact that there are different eras to the game, and so on and so forth. Now, the one thing that I'm going to bring up, and I'm going to put, Kobe and LeBron kind of in this same category since they came after Jordan. If I wanted to make an argument based upon Jordan's quote that greatness is an evolutionary process that changes and evolves era to era, could one argue that whether that be Kobe, I'm going to say LeBron, because Kobe is almost a spitting image of Jordan. Could one argue that LeBron could be the greatest in this evolutionary process because there have been enough changes and evolution to his build and his type of play to say that in this era he is by far the greatest?
Small forward.
Yeah, well, so I mean, you're breaking it down to position. Because
like, here's the thing, it's like,
well, that's like saying Mike's not the GOAT. He's only the GOAT at the 2 or the 3.
Nah, I know. I'm just not willing to put him at. I'm not trying to put.
That's the only reason I'm saying that. When you talked about Jordan was the GOAT. You didn't sit there and say, mailman, sorry, can't beat him. Like that wasn't a thing. It was greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. And I understand where you're coming from, so play my game because it's my question.
I got you.
Only reason I say that, and I know I'm building an argument for LeBron, but this is for the sake of this conversation. The definition of evolve, develop gradually, especially from a simple to a more complex form. I would argue that LeBron is more complex of a total player all around. Multiple categories of NBA statistical record keeping. He has evolved from what Jordan was. Jordan slaughtered what he did far more than LeBron did. But I would argue that LeBron can be a 5-stat league leader. Jordan would never have touched 5 different stat league leaders. He just had the stats that he was great at, which was a lot. He won a lot. Defensive player of the years. I'm not downplaying Jordan. But
he's not
LeBron,
just a scorer.
LeBron has done it. Mike hadn't. I'm just saying there's an argument there that I think can be made, and I'm curious on how you feel, and I'm not going to interrupt.
So the evolution as a physical player, yes. You're right. Yes, he is physically evolved from what Michael Jordan was.
Passing? Physical,
like, physically, like, he could play the game physically maybe better than what Michael Jordan could.
Right. So I'm saying, like,
but technically and mentally, technically, he's just barely over Michael physically, right? Like, personally, honestly, that's the way I feel. Because if they would have ever bumped up against each other and each other's peaks, right? You saw during this documentary what happens when Michael Jordan finds a roadblock. He figures out a way to go through that roadblock. Not around, not under, not over, but he goes through. So at the end of the day, if I'm sitting here saying capability-wise of who I'm going to take over, between LeBron or Michael Jordan, 10 out of 10 times I'm going to take Michael Jordan but I mean, that's after knowing what I'd known of him, right? Mm-hmm. If they show up at the court and I see the 6'9" dude doing crazy shit, but I don't know the winning fortitude of this other guy, I would take LeBron. You're right. Mm-hmm. Physically, he is the more gifted athlete. But when it comes down to when you sit there and talk about GOATs and all that things, personally, the way I'm looking at it, and I started to really have to think about this because of the fact, I always want to throw Kobe's name in there. And I honestly believe that Kobe would be, once again, I believe it would be Jordan 1A, Kobe 1B, and then LeBron. I have no problem with LeBron being a third.
Mhm.
I know he's a great player, but when it comes to GOAT, he doesn't have the GOAT mentality.
Mhm.
And I think that you have to look at the whole package when you're talking about the GOAT name.
Sure.
You know, I mean, when you want to solidify, like, you know, I'm the greatest now because I evolved physically, yes, but I after seeing what you saw from uh uh uh, uh well Will Chamberlain and you know Bill Russell, you know, where they were the goats of those times, and you know but they also had this I will not lose mentality, like I am gonna win.
It was a big man game way back then too.
Well, I mean, yeah, but still,
Which
I'm just
helps.
saying
No,
that
no, no, yeah.
there
But I
were
mean,
other
like,
big men. There was
I
just
mean,
there was other
dude,
big men playing.
jump shots weren't even really in the league back when these guys
I
were the
know,
GOATs.
but
So
what I'm
now,
getting
hey,
at
I'm
is
not
that
arguing,
like,
but to go to my conversation, era to era evolution.
and I once again still believe
There would be somebody that would have evolved the game that became the first pure shooter. Now, I'm not smart enough to go all the way back to the first guy who was like, "Yo, I'm just gonna pull up jump shots." Like there was someone, I don't know who that
all right.
someone is, but there was a guy who's like, instead of going passing or going inside where these guys are, I'm gonna shoot it as far
Was
away
that
from them as
Jerry
possible.
West?
I don't know. It very well could be. You see what I'm saying? You know, and like that would have been like
But that's
it's
what I'm. But,
revolution to the game, not the player. Now, I don't disagree with anything you were saying. You made good points. What you haven't done is you haven't answered my question yet, though.
all right,
Because
ask your question
you
again.
went right to a LeBron Jordan debate who you would pick, and I didn't talk about Jordan's physical or LeBron's physical stature.
Well, you said
or,
evolution,
or who you would take. What I did is
and
I
you
took
brought
a
up his
quote.
size.
I took a quote from Michael Jordan, who truly
Okay.
believes that there are different eras and that greatness is an evolutionary process that changes and evolves era to era. We are at a full understanding that Jordan's
then.
era and the current era, these are separate. So let me break this down because I'm kind of curious how you
No, I
break
was gonna
this
say
down.
real quick, because like,
Is Kobe a new era or is he Jordan's era? I know it's kind of intertangled.
He's the middle era.
Okay, so they were in a era transition. Fair to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like unfortunately he didn't get to go against like how Mike went against Larry and he went against Magic and they were able to hand over the era over. You know, Kobe didn't get that.
If you call let's just say Kobe had his own era during his career, I don't think there was anybody even close to forming a debate if they were better than him or Mike.
Tracy McGrady was a good conversation back then.
Tracy McGrady was great, but never once have I heard Tracy McGrady in a GOAT conversation ever.
Well, he was riddled with injury. So I mean, like his career was
my point being is that's why I say, Kobe fell into this weird limbo stage of an era differential. Like when Mike was coming out, Kobe took over the league with so much force that the NBA never lost greatness in a sense. Like it went from one great to the next. And I felt like he carried the same energy. He played like Mike. Now, Kobe still has his own identity. I'm not taking that away from him. But what I'm saying is like, I feel like Kobe coming into LeBron, for example, I feel like there was a little bit of a dip, you know what I mean, before LeBron really became an NBA star and Kobe was nearing the end, which now I'm still going off of Kobe.
Still won when LeBron was in it.
No. And I know that. And I know that's why I'm saying he's still in his prime, but LeBron couldn't match Kobe at that point. There was no competition. Like it was Kobe's league. Kobe dominated the NBA literally up until the last 4 years of his career. Like that was Kobe's era. No one took that from him. Even young LeBron had nothing to say when it came to still Kobe's era. LeBron didn't become relevant as far as even being talked about as a GOAT until 3 years to Miami.
Okay, that conversation. He was always relevant.
Yeah, he had to have multiple rings before it became, LeBron and Kobe? Like, Kobe still had LeBron, no ifs, ands, or buts. And Kobe still had LeBron even after LeBron won a couple rings, in my opinion.
If you're talking about evolution, then Kobe would definitely end up being the evolution because Mike was, he was a hard worker, right? Mm-hmm. But he didn't take care of his body. I mean, like something one of the differences between
you see how much booze and cigars they smoke.
Yeah, I was gonna say, although it's still out drinking and partying all night, smoking cigars every night, and not sleeping like you expect a player of his caliber to play, right? So, where Kobe was a sociopath, and I mean that in the greatest of ways, because all he did was, think, dream, and live basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like that was his thing, right? Yeah. How was he going to be the greatest?
He's more so than Mike, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I mean, although he had to physically although he was physically gifted, he hated losing. You know what I'm saying? So how can I not have that happen? I'm gonna work my ass off. Here's one thing I know is that I won't lose because I didn't give everything I had.
Right.
LeBron, and
he doesn't. LeBron doesn't have that. No, LeBron. I'll say it for you. LeBron doesn't have that mentality.
I was trying to be nice about it because I do like LeBron James.
He's more.
That's the reason why I don't.
Here's the thing, man, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm gonna sum this up that both of us will nod our head and agree to. When it came to Mike and Kobe, they wanted their legacy to be success and championship. Like that's what they wanted to leave by. LeBron wants to leave being the most liked, and secondly to that, the best player ever. I think LeBron is more concerned with people, with him being a positive image on everyone around him and to his viewers than he is being a ring holder.
He already tried on the black hat. He didn't like it.
Yeah. And I'll be honest.
That's the reason why he went back to Cleveland, because he's like, I need the white hat. I cannot be the bad guy.
Agreed.
Mike had no problem being the bad guy. Kobe had no problem being the bad guy. Mm-hmm. LeBron James cannot be the bad guy. I mean, I'll be honest. Watching him in Miami did not look fun. All right. Mm-hmm. Even when he came back to Cleveland and he worked his fucking ass off, right, to win that championship, I'll be honest, he still looked like he had more fun on those teams than he did when he was in Miami.
Agreed. And I think he wanted to bring one to Cleveland, but I don't think he personally, with the hype of being the best in the league at that time, I don't think he felt like he had anything to prove to his peers and people within the league because he had that respect. He just wanted to prove it to himself in Cleveland that he could get a trophy to them. But but you see where I'm coming from with that.
But he was looked at as a bad guy when he went to Miami. He was a bad guy. Cleveland hated him. Mm-hmm. My hometown hates me. Yeah. My hometown.
Yeah.
He couldn't live with that. I mean, he loved the fact that he was a kid from Akron and he got drafted straight to Cleveland, his team. You know.
I mean, dude, he still hashtags kid from Akron. He just shouted out the Last Dance yesterday. Hashtag kid from Akron. Like he takes so much pride where he is from, which, I mean, blessing and a curse in his position. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, a lot of people will look at that and say, damn, even after he got stabbed in the back, even after they threw him out, he still came home and still wanted to win a ring for that city. Yeah. Cool. Then there's other people like my dad, for example, who's like, fuck Cleveland. They treat you like that and you go back? Like, fuck that. That's not what my dad actually said, but I know that's how he felt on the inside.
Yeah,
like you can look at that in two different lights, and LeBron switching organizations will always haunt his legacy. Even being a diehard LeBron fan, biased as fuck, don't give two fucks about it, it will still hurt his legacy. And not to get into the debate again, but the only reason I wanted to go back to that same question is after reading specifically how Jordan put that quote into his autobiography, it puts me at ease knowing the greatest, finger quotations for the listeners, because there's still bias in my heart. The greatest can say something like that, but understand that he was the GOAT at that time, but that there's still an era and evolutionary change. Like all he's saying is, no one's better than me when I played that game. Like that's it.
But here's the thing. But it has. If that's the case, then I would Do you not have to give Kevin Durant go over LeBron James?
Well,
Even
so,
though he doesn't have the market value, even though he doesn't have the market value, the all the fans and all that stuff, he's
Yeah.
beaten him 2 out of fucking 3 times that they play. Wait,
So let me
every time he's played him,
let
every
me
time he's
rephrase.
beat him in a championship.
Let me rephrase this, because you consistently keep going back to championship. Both times now I've asked the same question, and you ultimately go back to this is the Jordan mind.
Because
this
that's
is the Jordan mind. No, that's your mindset of greatness is championships. That's your, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Everything is ranked on.
And there's
that's the reason why. That's the reason why they talk about.
True. That's not true
Super,
at all. That's not true.
All the greats
single-handedly don't make you the greatest. Period.
Excuse me.
I can pull up a list of people who have won more than 5 rings in their career. I bet for a fact you can't name them all.
No.
I know for a fact you can't name them all.
Robert Horry 7, so eat a dick.
Right. So and Robert Horry was nowhere near the greatest of all time in anything, maybe other than being a husband and a father, but I don't know his real life. So all I'm saying.
But here's the thing. Here's the reason why you go championships when you get in these conversations, right? Is because of the fact that when it is on the line to win, that's what makes you the greatest of all time. You gotta win.
I disagree.
Like Jim Kelly, could you not audibly say he might be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time? Can't say he's the GOAT. Could you say he's the GOAT? He went to 4 Super Bowls straight back to back.
Yeah. So let me ask you this.
Could you say he's one of the greatest of all times, even though he didn't win? I don't think so.
Why is Dan Marino considered top, if not, maybe top 2 quarterbacks of all time?
No.
100%.
Whose book?
In the NFL's book.
Fuck them. They don't know what they're talking about.
You're right. Just a bunch of fucking writers from the last 6 decades.
First off, I mean, like, right away you got Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Then you also got Brett Favre that would easily beat when you look at top.
And so what we have to look at now is what era, hence Michael Jordan's quote, what era of quarterback and what evolutionary process was made that made them great, not the greatest of all time. This quote has nothing to do with greatest of all time, by the way. This has to do with greatness and how it evolves through eras. There will always be the greatest of an era. And then you can argue the greatest of an era.
So for me, I guess I'm assuming too much. What are you putting as your
greatness
regulations of what greatness contains? Because, like, yes, you're right. I'm going to go to championships.
Greatness is the quality of being great, distinguished, or eminent. Now, distinguished, you could argue, is based upon championships. My dad is the greatest. What has my dad won? Like, so my point being is greatness. I mean, if we want to get real philosophical, no one can tell me what the definition of greatness means other than myself. It's very clear that greatness to you, and I'm not, once again, you're not wrong. I'm just, for argument's sake, greatness to you is championships only. So you can lead the league in points, assists, steals, blocks. You could go down as the greatest NBA player of all time, leading in all categories, undisputed. But because you never won 6 rings, you'll never be better than Michael Jordan. And I have a hard time saying when you beat them in everything minus the championships, it's hard for me to sit there and say that trumps all. Because that's when you get into the Robert Horrys, which, hey, right place, right time. He still did something. But that's the only
big shot. He's big shot, Rob.
I like to look at accomplishments as a whole and what you did and what you had to go through to achieve them. That's when it comes to sports. That's what I would personally look at, regardless of LeBron, bro. Like, I can still sit here and say, why do you think when I say LeBron's the GOAT with bias? I mean, like, there's always, like, I know what's going on. And why is it when you say Kobe's the GOAT, you smirk? Like, there's this, but you see where I'm coming from. Yeah. So, like, at the end of the day, once again, obviously this is debate. This is great content. You're not wrong. In my opinion, I'm not wrong either, man. Greatness is going to be defined by the individual and based upon what they're looking for. And the only thing that I wanted to point out is it makes me feel better as a LeBron fan to hear the GOAT say there are evolutionary changes era to era. Because the one argument that anybody can make that's, let's say, a Jordan hater, okay? Because I didn't say I hated Jordan. I said I don't like Jordan. I don't like Kobe. That doesn't mean I can't sit here and say, well, fuck.
I believe when Kobe was alive, I believe he said I hate Jordan. I believe he said I hate Kobe when he was alive. I'm not trying to put you on Front Street or nothing.
I think I said fuck Kobe. I don't know why you got to bring up old shit. You know what I mean? Like, I still got a purple and gold hat. Like, what do you want from me? So, but my point being, man, is, like, you're gonna find, and this is what's awesome about sports debate, is I could do a Google search right now. I just saw recently that Jason Williams posted something on like Twitter about how he's going out. He's like, I'm going public saying it right now. LeBron is the GOAT. And then he goes over da 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 da, and I'm sure he got hell for it, especially during The Last Dance. And then you got people that are going to sit out there and say Jordan's the best. Da 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 da. And as amazing as The Last Dance was, it is hard for somebody, let's say me. It's hard for somebody like me to watch that, see how hard he works, see that work ethic, that drive, that passion, that the obsession over being the best at everything, bro. Everything.
Flipping coins.
Literally everything. He goes, that's a game of chance. He goes, fuck chance. I'm going to be the best at chance. That's Michael Jordan. And then not only did he say fuck chance, I'm going to be the best, then he went and was the best at chance. That is Michael Jordan. That's what I've learned watching this documentary. I will never take anything from him. He will always be one of the greatest of all times. But when I sit here and I watch somebody do what he does in the league and does everything well other than win championships, which sucks, bro. Like, we're Spartans. We think we're going to win a championship every fucking year. And when it doesn't happen, we're like, fluke. Fucking refs.
Look at our fucking quarterback. He's fucking terrible.
Yeah, right? So, my point being is, like,
3 years in a row.
We're always going to see greatness in the ones that we love and follow. I feel better knowing that, reading that, and it kind of makes me want to read his autobiography, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, man, like, there's always going to be greatest, and I can firmly say that Jordan is a GOAT. Like, I'm just going to call him a GOAT. Tom Brady, GOAT. As much as it hurts me to fucking say those names, like, there's just people that transcend the game to another level, unfathomable to people. Like, and that's exactly what he did. Like, it was bonkers. I wish I could have.
I can't ask for LeBron to get food poisoned. But we were watching that. Shannon sitting there, he's watching it with me, and he goes, "Is he sick?" I was like, "Yes." He's like, "So why did you play?" And I looked at him. I go, "Cause he's a fucking champion. That's why." And he goes, and Channing just looks at me. He goes, "Huh?" He's like, "But I mean, he was sick." I'm like, "It doesn't matter. Champions play." And he goes, "Oh, all right." Like, it was a great learning moment for my child to know that it doesn't matter how fucking bad you feel. Like, I mean, you look at Scottie Pippen, jumping out there, and like he was just he sat there last night and just like, I was nothing but a motherfucking decoy. He's just like, my back was fucked up.
Yeah. and it was awesome like, too, man, because there have been so many players that you can think of, like LeBron and his cramps. Like, even though as like stupid as that was and frustrating as I was as a fan, like playing through those, you got
Paul Pierce.
I was gonna say you got Isaiah Thomas, like players playing right after like family members pass away. Like, I know that's not physical illness, but like, dude, mentally, that shit fucks you up here, and like, it's just so incredible to see athletes in general go through hardship, whether it be illness or mental emotional pain, like, to be able to step up and do great things, man. Like, nothing is more motivating than that kind of, like, not that we like to see it, but damn, really makes you ask yourself, like, how hard am I trying?
Maybe I'm too old. I was thinking about something as you were talking here, because like, but I mean, I was thinking about it, like, growing up, you're like, Jordan, fading away.
Nope.
And then, and then Kobe came around, you're like, Kobe. Yep. So I do
that, dude. Every time I did that, I'd be like, why the fuck didn't I say LeBron? I would still be
If you
saying
see-
Kobe after
like,
I was a LeBron
I mean,
fan, bro.
I'll be honest. Even if you dunked it, you like Shaq, you know. You know, you're just like, I'm gonna be Shaq D's on that rim and just
Yeah.
fucking, you know. I mean, maybe LeBron needs a rebrand. I don't know. It needs a thing. Oh no. No, there was so a couple things during the last night's episode. I really enjoyed the 10-minute Steve Kerr got, and I never knew about his dad. Did you know about that?
I didn't.
That was wild to me, man. For those that didn't see it, you're a fucking moron. You need to watch this documentary. But I don't know. I mean, like it was very. I mean, they never even talked about it. Like if something happened in your life, Clay. Something happened. You know, if something ever happened in your life, and I'm like, I have something that is the same, and you're having a hard time dealing with it. Hey, I understand what you go through. That's. I mean, Steve Kerr, you're his fucking teammate. Like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Like, I would have thought you would have been like, hey, man. I'm here if you need me. This is what happened from my end. Steve Kerr's dad, who was an educator for UCLA, ended up becoming the president. Well, he started out as vice president for the what was it? What was it called? Do you remember? American Academy over in like Israel or something like that. It was, but basically, like he immediately became the president because the regular president got kidnapped. And then, unfortunately, I'm telling the story poorly, and I'm sorry to the Kerr family. But Google this, people. It's fucking intriguing.
Lebanon.
But Lebanon, thank you. And his dad ended up getting shot in the head by some rando people that walked up to him and just shot him. And that is something that, as he was 19, if I remember correctly, when that happened, for a 19-year-old kid to, you know, have to go through, I couldn't imagine going through life at 19-year-old without my dad. I got my dad now, and I know I take advantage. You know what I mean? Like, as far as, like, I don't do, after hearing that, I don't do enough. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm like, I can't wait till coronavirus is over. I'm going to squeeze the fuck out of my dad. I'll probably break his ribs because he's so small. But, you know, like, hearing something like that was just, you know, devastating. And that was something that was that was a great 10 minutes that they spent. It was only about 10 minutes that they actually spent talking about Steve Kerr and his family on that. And I thought that, once again, they did a fantastic job covering that. Let's see here. There was another part that made me giggle, was the Rodzilla going to that whole fucking
Bro, going to WWE.
No, it's WCW. Get it right, man. I was a huge fucking. The fucked up thing was like I was a huge, back in the day. I was a huge wrestling fan. I still follow it. But I was a huge wrestling fan, and I remembered that night watching it on Monday Night Nitro, and here comes fucking Dennis Rodman with fucking Hollywood Hogan, and I was just like, I didn't even think twice about it. Come to find out, he goes and he just, poof, I'm out. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Golly. So, I mean, I don't know. There's not really much. I mean, like, we could definitely get into little increments. I don't know if you have any, like, small tidbits that you wanted to talk about last week, but from this week's episode, you know, I Mike Jordan, he's just, I mean, everybody involved, that Bulls team. I mean, so as a basketball fan and as somebody that has to defend a player a lot, did it change or inform you in any way that Michael Jordan is, of why he maybe looked at as so superior? Because I mean, you didn't watch him. I grew up watching him, right? Like, I like if I think in conversation, you even said you by the time you were watching, Kobe was the man, and Michael was in Washington. Did this change your perception of Michael Jordan in any way?
um, so I mean, I have a vast more respect for the work ethic that he had. Um, Typically, when people like think of how good these players are, I think it's easy. It's easy to just assume that it's just God-given talent. Like they didn't have to work for that shit. Like that shit just was natural. They still worked hard, but like they didn't have to work as hard as others because they were just the best. Um, and it just goes to show that his work ethic was literally second to none, man. He busted ass. Um, like everything that he did, it's a couple of things that just opened my mind. I'll just speak to that. Like I didn't realize that his like parents were at almost all of his games. Like his dad was by his side. Like that meant
Yeah.
so much to him. I thought that was crazy. Like, you know, in a good way, obviously. Like that was
Right.
moving. Um, okay, so I'm gonna say this, and I don't want it to like come off like I'm being like ignorant or anything, but personally, after watching all of that, one, I truly now believe that Jordan had a fuck ton more help than people think. Those dudes were not scrubs. And I have more to add to this, okay? So before you say something. So like those guys that he played with, I never knew Scottie Pippen was seen not in the NBA world, but in the sports world as the second best player in the league at one point. I didn't know that. I always knew he was number 2 and they were both great, but I never knew Scottie was 2. That's like, in my opinion, that would be like LeBron and Ant, top players, or LeBron and KD. If those two got together, like that's the vibe that I got off of this doc. That's what all these people were saying about Scottie without Mike would have been the best in the league. That's the vibe I was getting. Maybe they were talking him up because it was a Bulls documentary. Correct me if I'm wrong. It sounded like they were saying that Scottie was no joke and that he was just that good. I think this was sounded to me. It sounded more so in the early 90s before he got into his like contract huff and puff, and you know what I mean, before he started like being outlandish. It sounded like when he was playing for the love of it that he was one of the best in the league at that time. Same as like a Dame Lillard, same as like a Russell Westbrook. One of those guys that you go, that dude's elite. He's superstar. I didn't realize Scottie was that good. And once again, not to say that Scottie carried the Bulls. We still know that Jordan was the one who stepped up and scored all those points. The one other thing that I guess surprised me more so, I would have assumed with as much, this is definitely going to make me sound ignorant, with as much hype as Jordan has of being the GOAT, there were I would say a huge majority of their games that they won, especially in the playoffs, those were really close games. Like I thought they were blowing dudes out in the finals like laughing stock. I didn't realize that to get to a game 6 was at one point Utah's got this series. Like I guess I never realized Jordan fought from behind. The way people talk about Jordan is like, dude, Jordan went out there and scored 60. Like there was never a chance. And I guess that's just how I envisioned Michael Jordan and the Bulls. Come to find out, I have more respect for some of their opponents. Like I didn't realize the Jazz were like that. I didn't realize they went to like multiple finals in a row. I guess I just never, I never noticed that. So like I got respect for Malone and Stockton now.
I was gonna say, how could you? I honestly, number 2 point guard in the league if you take away Magic Johnson.
Stockton
ever of all time, he's number 2.
Yeah, and so I'm not trying to take anything away from Jordan or the Bulls. All I'm saying is I received more of an education on the NBA in the 90s, and I also received an extensive amount of education on the Chicago Bulls.
So you kind of can now understand where I come from on my takes on shit. You know, it's I remember this shit happening.
I would really like to at this point see a 90s decade all NBA doc. I know that will never happen in a sense of what I'm looking for, but I would like to see how hard Karl Malone and John Stockton worked. I'm curious to see how they led their team.
Karl
You know what I
Malone,
mean?
Karl
And
Malone was known before like social media and all this stuff as
yeah,
known as being the working guy. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
So
he was one of those first guys that was actually pumping iron
yeah,
in the weight
and the
room and
only
shit. So.
reason I say this is I would like to see, in comparison to Jordan's greatness, who worked just as hard in their own terms. Because Jordan worked his ass off. We know that. But it wasn't just how fast can you run this sprint? How many weights can you lift in what? Like, it wasn't just that. Jordan lived and breathed and died basketball. But that's not to take away from anyone else's work ethic. And we know that there were players out there in that league at that point in time busting ass that just didn't have that killer instinct, the ability to do what Jordan did. And from an education standpoint, it would be really cool to see somebody put like the Jordan never, like, let's just say in quotations, the Jordan that no one ever knew. And it was somebody who just day in and day out workhorse. You know what I mean? It would just be an interesting perspective. But I tell you what, man, like, I already knew from seeing the Bad Boys and some other like documentaries that the 90s was like tough-nosed basketball. I think that if these players today played in that era, there'd be a lot of whining and a lot of fucking complaining and crying. I don't think a lot of these players could play back then because they're too fucking soft. Not to call them pussies, but the league is different. Now refs are there to protect players before they get hurt. I distinctly remember what I think was it the Pistons and the Bulls. There was like a fight, and then they just kept playing. No fouls, no ejections.
Well, I was gonna say that happened with Mike. That happened with Mike with
Lakers, maybe. Like
I
fight,
think
bro.
the Lakers beat him up a little bit, but
Like
it was definitely the Pistons. And then you had the Knicks.
that
And
was one of them. Yeah, the Knicks. You had the
and
Celtics,
then
but I remember
also the
fighting
Pacers.
Celtics.
No, the Pacers were
No,
they,
but there
Reggie
was
Miller and him.
there was one of the episodes where there were fists flying into bodies, and then they just went to the free throw line. Could you imagine somebody throwing hands in today's game saying, stop, stop, stop? All right, line up for free throws. Like, are you kidding me? Like kids nowadays couldn't even think of a situation like that. It's beyond them. So, like, it's just crazy because, like, a lot of people say, oh, like, Mike couldn't play in today's, it's too quick or it's too this or it's too that. Like, if anything, the game has gotten softer, in my opinion, even though players are staying just as in shape and athletically fit and strong, because with technology comes, health advancement and
Advancement.
and they're.
But
I'm
that's the
not saying
thing.
they're
That's
in
what
less
he
shape.
did. He would have adjusted. I mean, so like he came in small. He
Yeah.
came in small. So
Yeah.
like he had to adapt to the league that was going on. He was just like, oh, I came from college. I was a small guy. I dominated there.
I would say Jordan played in probably, from what I've seen and know, played in the toughest era of basketball.
Oh,
it would be
certainly.
tough to. So when you say like, oh, LeBron's big, he'd be just fine. I've seen LeBron get like poked in the face, and the motherfucker, he's laying on the ground with his hand over his like.
Stop it.
I know. I love.
You
LeBron,
saw him get phantom
but,
poked.
Yeah.
You saw him get phantom poked. That's what you saw.
Now. Everyone in the NBA nowadays is like that, though. I don't know one tough son of a bitch who gets poked in the eye and then tries to go throw hands. It's all about falling for the fouls.
I was gonna say, like, I'm gonna blame.
Who you blaming?
My Lakers is the one that started it. My man Derek Fisher. My man Derek Fisher could take a fucking charge. And got to a point because he took so many. He just knew that you just knew he was gonna take it. So if he fucking even came close and he fell, why not?
So,
Derek Fisher be taking fouls.
And for what it's worth, a lot of sports. I mean, look at football, man. Look how
They're
soft.
all good stuff.
Look how soft
You
football's
can't even run into the catcher in baseball anymore.
I know. So, my point being is all sports, and maybe with the exception of hockey. Hockey hadn't changed a whole lot. If anything, they made hockey more difficult. But other than that, I can't think of any other sports that have gotten tougher.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Even UFC has more restrictions to keep fighters safe. So, like, my point being, like, I give mad props to all NBA players, all baseball players back in the day, football players back in the day. Because in those eras, man, like as tough as we think we are nowadays, those were some bad motherfuckers, man. Those guys were tough as fucking nails.
These are more athletically gifted. Because and I hate to say it because of technology and everything that's made them more athletically gifted, but I mean there's a lot more tools out there to use than what it was. And so you're able to make your body. I mean, you got to think about it, like science and how can I work out this particular thing to make me, make a crisper pass on a fucking fast break. I mean, it's broke down to the minuscule like that.
Yep.
It's bonkers. And
I mean, there's pros and cons both ways. I mean, it's pros and cons.
Nothing but pros.
Yeah.
Nothing but pros. Yeah. It's just the fact that we can't make them soft. We gotta keep everybody tough,
and you can't knock today's athletes because you can't be like you're not as tough as them because the game's not as hard. Like it's unfair to say you're not as tough as somebody else because you're unable to play in a league like that. Like that's not feasible in today's world. So it's hard to say you're not as tough as so and so because they played in the 80s. They played in the in my opinion, that would be unfair to judge somebody's toughness.
I'm sorry, but first things first, nobody's tough as Mike Tyson.
Oh God, no! You seen that motherfucker? I'm good.
I'm back.
So.
Speaking of fighting and toughness, did you watch last night?
2 nights ago. Yes, Saturday night. UFC.
Saturday night.
So I'll be honest, due to other topics I want to talk about, I'm gonna quickly breeze through these, but like I don't want to get into full-blown conversations. One thing that I want to talk to is all of the money that I lost on fights again. I read an article that this was the most heavily bet on fighting event in recent past. Obviously due to the fact that nobody is betting on sports right now. So as soon as UFC got going, they're like, oh shit, I get to put money down. I definitely lost. I actually didn't pick anybody that I bet on to win correctly. And the one fight that I did try and bet on and I didn't get my bet in on time was the one who won. So fuck me. But I'm going to touch on some of the fights that I really enjoyed.
I can't wait. You got the list of fights up right now?
Yeah. So one of the ones in the prelims that I really enjoyed was I think it's Giga Chikdeh or Chick something. He's from Georgia, like the country, and he was fighting in Irwin Rivera. Irwin Rivera, I think it was his first. I think it was his first fight in the UFC, if I'm not mistaken. And Giga, I don't know how to say his name, but
Chikadze.
Yeah,
Chikadze is how they were saying it.
It's not how you say it. It's not.
That's how they said it. It was like I thought shit. It was something like that. But anyways, go on.
It's closer to what you said than what I said. I will agree with that.
Okay.
It's just that you're not the name guy, so like you're pissing me off. Yeah, right. So Gigawatt Chiclets is what? Yeah. Giga Ding Dong. Chicken Days.
Kickboxing phenomenon.
Giant Chick-fil-A is I really enjoyed watching him fight, man. Like
yeah.
I've been trying. I'm starting to get more into prelims because I really want to find a fighter who's just breaking into the UFC that I can like follow.
I found one. In the prelims.
This card?
On this prelims, I found one.
Nice. Okay, it's probably Kevin Holland, I bet.
No.
Okay. So, anyways, but yeah, I really enjoyed watching him fight, man. I mean, long story short, man, I just like the striking. Hats off to Irwin Rivera, who I thought fought really well against him. I don't feel like Gigawatt Chick-fil-A lost any energy through the fight. I thought his striking was excellent. And I'm just really excited to watch him continue to fight. And I'll just leave it at that. But I want to know who your guy was.
My guy was right before your guy there.
Nate Landwehr.
Dana!
Oh, dude, that dude. I
Tiger!
didn't like that guy. I thought he was way too
Oh
cocky.
man, I love that guy, and I hope he
So
stays cocky, and I hope he can back it up.
he reminded me of a ghetto white dude, and I say that with all due respect. Like he was calling out his hometown, and like
Clarksville.
he has some swag to him for sure.
That
He's
dude
got
was a
some swag.
beast. Oh,
So-
he beat the shit out of Darren Elkins, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, dude. He was like showboating during the fight. He put one hand behind his back at one point.
He was nasty with
How
it, man.
about that one time when
And
he was sitting there and
he took a hit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he took several. And that Darren Elkins Nate Landwehr fight was by far the bloodiest fight that I've seen in recent past.
Shout out to Nate Elkins though, because I tell you what, that dude can take some fucking hits. Darren Elkins. I'm sorry, Darren Elkins.
He had a gash in his forehead, and he had a gash right by his eye. Just, dude, bleeding profusely to say the least. It was intense.
Hey guys, listeners, listen. Nate got all that dude's blood on him. Looked like he got a bad spray tan. That's how bad it was.
Dude, it was everywhere. I watched the next fight, and there was so much blood on the mat. It was everywhere. It looked like a sprinkler went off, and I'm not exaggerating.
Oh,
it looked like a sprinkler shot blood everywhere. It was insane. So I don't really feel the need to get into the rest. Alistair Overeem ended up beating Walt Harris. Wait a minute. Before you go, I'll let you talk about that one, but no. We're going to talk about it. Which one do you want to go over?
Claudia Gadelha, how you say her name? Gadelha and Angela Hill, dude.
So I picked Angela Hill to win that fight.
And she should have, and she did.
I think she should have won it too.
The judges are fucking blind on that one.
Well,
Jeez,
okay.
Pete.
So did you watch the Song versus Vera? Song Yadong versus Marlon Vera?
Yeah.
No idea how Song won.
No.
I have no
because
idea how he got the decision on that.
Because he's Uriah Faber guy.
Yeah, Uriah Faber weighed in just in case.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. I hit Justin up, and I'm like, I'm gonna be honest. I sure hope Uriah fights tonight.
Yeah. And then the one that I picked that I didn't get my bet in was Dan Ige against Edson Barboza. Barboza dropped weight to go down a weight class into the featherweight. And I've seen IG fight before, and I was like, you know what? I go to drop weight. You're not just losing fat; you're losing a little bit of muscle. You're losing a lot. And the stamina, yeah, exactly. And the stamina difference between weight classes can be huge. And I tried to put in my bet for IG. Granted, it was going to be a parlay with him, Angela Hill, and I picked Walt Harris, and it would have been fucked anyways. But
my girl Angela Hill, man, she called out. She told Dana, she's like, "Yo, put me in the ring next week. I'm ready to carve out all your women's division."
Yeah. So
she beat the shit out of her, man.
Yeah.
That was stupid. Fucking terrible judges on that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna focus in on that one because that's the one that really fucked me up.
I thought Claudia by far had round one, but I thought Angela Hill took 2 and 3 easily with her striking. Her significant strikes definitely outweighed.
And the thing is, everybody had Hill on the second round. Everybody had Claudia on the first, Angela on the second, and then the third. I heard people go back and forth. I really don't understand the people that went the opposite of Angela, and it's not because like I favorited her. She just beat her up, man. That whole third round, just pop, 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 And then when she did get hit, she walked right through it and pop, pop, pop again. I mean, it was, I don't know. Alistair Overeem and Walt Harris, not the fight that we were imagining. I'll be honest, like the women probably should have taken the main card there.
I'll be honest, that fight should have ended in the first. I thought Walt Harris had it done. When he put Overeem on his back and started pounding him, I was like, done, toast. Somehow, Overeem kept fighting and ended up getting it. Yeah, once Walt Harris once the fight got to the ground, Walt Harris just didn't have what it took to. I mean, that's a big man. When you got 250 pounds all weight coming right down on top of you, it's tough. to get away from
I
that.
also owe him 40, what is it, 40-year-old now?
Yeah,
40-year-old
he
man,
just turned 40,
on Sunday.
the day after the fight. Yep,
Yeah,
yesterday.
Sunday. So, I mean, he's a bad man, and he's been a bad man for a lot of years.
Hmm.
Um, I
I mean, dude, think of all the legends that he's fought. He's
oh,
fought some of the best UFC fighters,
Brock
Hall of Famers.
Lesnar. He fought Randy Couture. Um, which Randy Couture, I feel like doesn't get talked enough about, but and he's a Hall of Famer. But this is a tough one to go into. Who did you want to win? And then it sounded like you bet on him. Who did you bet to win?
I bet and wanted Walt to win the fight. Obviously, he did not, which is whatever. I've seen Overeem fight, and I've never seen Overeem win. So that's why I bet against him. Of course, the time I do is the time he wins. I'm not downplaying what he's done. Yeah, Vitor Belfort twice, won Strikeforce heavyweight, won K1 kickboxing. He beat Fabricio Verdum, who we just watched 2 weeks ago. Throttles Brett Rogers. I mean,
so we can get out of the fights. I do want to talk about Dana. Is he a genius?
I mean, in what sense? I mean, I guess yeah. I mean, look at what he's built with the UFC.
Not even just the UFC. I mean, and the big picture of the UFC. I'm talking about at this point in time in the world, when everybody, I want live sports. 100%. What did he do? This guy has to fuck off. I mean, like, I think that the fact that baseball, basketball, and football are all like, yo, we got some plans to get in place right away, because the fact that right now Dana's the only show out there, and people are tuning the fuck in.
It's smart. I mean, like I just said, it was it was one of the most heavy bet on fight cards in recent years. Like think of all the Conor McGregor fights. Think of all of the big time UFC fights. And this was the one that caught the most bets. A non pay-per-view fight.
Imagine if he could actually get a during the COVID, and during when not a lot of sports, a huge name like a fucking Conor McGregor or
Conor McGregor won't fight unless it's pay-per-view. I guarantee that.
No, that's what I'm saying. No. Yeah, I mean, they just did a pay-per-view last weekend.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they can.
They're doing another one on June 6th. It's going to be Amanda Nunes. I'm thinking about coming home for that fight, by the way. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I have to do a family check of how we feel.
I'm about to put your wife in check and tell her that TV's got plans.
It's about the COVID, man. Like, I mean, so it kind of falls into a question I wanted to ask you at the beginning.
I'm going to tell her to test me. Like, test me right now.
At the beginning of our conversation. So I want to know real quick, because I know you got some other sport things, but I want to get into more about you real quick. What do you miss ever since the shutdown? And what have you? And then I'm gonna follow. So as you saying what you miss, I want to know what you also appreciate ever since the shutdown.
Sure. So I'm not gonna get too in depth. I'm gonna keep it real cash, day-to-day life. I really fucking miss going to movies, man. I genuinely miss going to movies. I missed all the movie releases. Like, I know some people are like, you're indoors in a theater, it's dark and you're not talking. But like, I love the movie theater, bro. Like, I go there to zone out from the world. I put my phone on mute and I enjoy my entertainment. Like, to me, like, that is relaxation. That's almost like meditation in a way. Like, I kind of sometimes prefer going to movies alone, man. So I definitely miss that. I mean, in general, I miss chilling with my friends, but if I were at home, I think I'd be doing more of that. Just because there's select people, you know what I mean, that I have been around multiple times that I know are safe. Granted, I know that's a day-to-day thing, so take that with a grain of salt. But I miss being able to go out to like a bar or a restaurant. Like, I was really looking forward to doing that. You know what I mean? Like relocating, going out to watch sports and shit like that, man. Like, I got a bar right down the street from me. Got a Michigan State flag hanging up actually, and like I was gonna start going there and watching basketball games. You know what I mean? Like stuff like just to
Right.
kind of get out of the house.
That's where
meet
you're
some
gonna
people in the
catch
area.
March Madness.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like all that kind of stuff. So, I miss the social aspect of going out to watch sports, and I definitely miss the movies. From an appreciation standpoint, though, man, like it's crazy to see how excited like my parents get to like FaceTime. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm an Android guy, but like everyone knows what FaceTime is. So like video chat, like people are using technology that they've never used before because they want to connect with friends and family. And I think it's really cool to see the efforts that people will go to just to have that socialization.
Yeah.
Like people are downloading apps that they've never used or heard of, just so they can like chat with somebody. Like I'm grateful that I have this podcast with you. Like it gives me something to talk about. It gives me an escape from where I'm at. And to do something that I love doing. So, a lot of people don't have that. So, I think it's really cool. I'm starting to appreciate, that I've been calling friends that I haven't talked to in a while. I've been reaching out, and tried to do more FaceTime talks. Like I was never really a huge fan of that because I'm like, dude, I see my friends all the time, but then being away and especially once everything locked down, I think it kind of pushes you to create new friendships, and it really puts everybody, I don't want to say it tests them, but it really shows the people who truly want to reach out and they still want to connect with you and they want to know how you're doing, how things are going. And I just think it's really cool to see how all that stuff plays out.
Yeah, that's something I really want to get into the beginning of this show, and I'm glad that you actually, I mean, you said I don't want to go too deep, and I think that's a pretty deep thing. You know what I mean? To miss people, to miss doing something as simple as that. I saw our friend Carlos, and he's just like, "Yo, we ever gonna get to see Black Widow?" And I was just like, I know, right? Because here's the thing: is like, it's not like Carlos and I get together during any specific time, other than I know that who I hang out with and who he hangs out with go to movies together. Other than that, we see each other out at certain, craft beer things throughout the city, which I don't get to see him, out and about because of the fact that we can't go out and about. And it is kind of weird, man. And it's those being able just to leave, like, especially the fact that, it'd be one thing if we were in this pandemic and I can be like, I got to go to the bar.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I got a family,
Yeah, right. Give him a mask, baby. I'm going to go walk around the grocery store.
Yeah. Oh, yo,
that's
my
your
man.
escape.
Yo, my man. Like, my wife is like, we need this. I go get it. I'm like, yo, I got it. I got it. Mm-hmm. I know how to breathe through the mask and everything. I'm cool. I'm comfortable. Let's do this shit. So, it was just something that like this week I've been thinking about. I'm just like, man, I'm like, I miss being able to just yo. I'll be honest. I don't ever ask anybody to go to the bar. My wife's just like, why don't you call so and so? I'm not gonna bother them to go to drink. To me, that seems silly. Hey, I have nothing else on my agenda. Let's go to the bar and drink a couple fucking.
I never did that either, unless it was to watch sports.
Right.
Like literally, that was my drive to go to the bar, was to watch sports.
And now I'm just like, yo, like I know a couple people. I'm just like, yo, I would love to call them up and just say, yo, let's go catch a drink real quick. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's not a thing that I did, but I mean, like, now I'm just like, just the opportunity to fucking leave the house for a fucking couple minutes. Just let's both of us leave our homes, take a couple shots, get a couple drinks in us, go back home, and deal with real life. That was something that I miss. But on the flip side, as I sit there and it sounds like I'm playing about family, I definitely have loved the fact of spending all this time with my kids, my wife. No, my wife, she works from home. That's her job. She works from home, and She doesn't work for the home. Well, she does, but I mean, because she make money. But but I mean, like she her job, she's able to work from home, which is a blessing. And I'm just like, I love the fact of being around everybody. I was just like, this is awesome. I would love for me never to have to leave my home again for work. You know what I mean? Like if my work isn't like continuously just making money as I move through life, like I mean, like as a lot of our I would say our dream jobs would be. Like I mean, we do this because why? We love Stephen A. Smith. We love Dan Patrick. We love Scott Van Pelt. Like Bill Simmons. These kind of guys that. Colin Coward. I don't want to leave anybody out because there's some fucking real, Stuart Scott. You get to talk about sports, as a fun thing, and you get to live the life of just sports and all that shit. We get this, 2 hours, an hour, however long we have a week where we get to focus directly in on sports. That would be a great life, and so I mean. We get this together, and then we have to go deal with regular life. And I definitely cherish this. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like what you're saying about like, getting to do this. I definitely cherish this because the fact that this is a nice escape from what's going out there. I mean, people are dying. I have a friend that I haven't mentioned much about him on here because the fact I'm not going to give his name because I don't want him to blow up like that. But I had a friend that was in ICU. I mean, he was in a coma for a little bit, all due to COVID. He's about my age, but you want to know what? Different than him. I mean, maybe part of the reason why I started working out a little bit, is the fact that
fan.
He is a Michigan fan.
Woo! All right, no shame to the COVID part, but
yeah,
it was COVID.
Yeah,
Grow up. Right? I kicked viruses my whole life. Kick this one, guys. Grow up. Drink some fucking milk, because strong bones have everything to do with your respiratory system.
Right. So he just got released this week from the hospital, man, and it was very good. I mean, I would love to shout him out, but I mean, I just want to make sure. I mean, like it was already a big thing throughout throughout. I mean, the news and all that stuff because he is he's not a law. I don't know if he's really a law officer, but he fights fucking crime. Like he's like, he fucking hunts down the bad guys. And I don't know exactly what his title is, but I remember when he was just a fucking bartender at fucking Old Chicago and Lansing, Okemos. Mm-hmm. This guy was a great guy, and I was nervous for him. So that's the reason why I'm like always scared about like when I ask you, hey man, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go to a fucking game right away? And you're like, fuck yeah. I'm like, that's cool, man. Don't do it. Like I mean, just because of the fact that it's just this whole COVID-19 thing is a scary fucking thing, and I think that young, old, healthy, unhealthy, we need to take it seriously. Yes, I mean there's numbers out there to support every argument. Hence the reason why, like as you heard Clay and I earlier talking about, greatness and GOAT, and I'm like championships, and he's like, I didn't say anything about championships, you son of a bitch. And I'm like, yes, but at the end of the day, like winners win. And Kobe did that, Michael did that, LeBron has not.
We're talking about COVID. Shut the fuck up.
I know, I realized I was getting a little too serious, so I was trying to fucking cut it up. But I was just kind of curious about what really did. And I've reached out to early. I've reached out, and here's the thing: is it's given me a lot of time to learn about me, and I'm just like I haven't reached out to enough friends. Hey, I check on you once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Not enough. And to all my friends that are listening, and I haven't checked in on you, thank you for listening. the dickhead thing would be for me to say, and I'm going to say because I'm a dick, is that the road goes both ways. You have my number. I have your number. You can reach the fuck out. If we're friends on the Book of Faces or Twitter or Instagram, you can reach the fuck out. I will respond. I might not respond timely. I mean, Clay, I speak to this dude every week. I'll be honest. I probably not
Multiple
physically
times
speak,
a
but
week.
we communicate
More than half the week.
I would almost
4 of
say
the
almost
7.
every day. I would
Pretty
say almost
close.
every day.
Pretty close.
You know what I mean?
Well,
And it's not even podcast shit.
If you count social media, yes, every single day.
Every single day
Every
with
single day.
that.
Yeah.
But
our meme game is strong as fuck. And
Yeah, I
and it's
mean-
not even just memes. A lot of it's sports.
yeah.
Interesting things. Like, you know what we should do one day? We should go like on a day we got nothing to talk about, like the Dog Days of Summer Volume 2. We should go through our sports feed and just find a post, 5-minute snippet, boom. Find a post,
You
10
know what?
minutes. Snippet, boom.
I mean, I'll be honest. That's probably what we should be doing anyways, because of the fact that there's nothing going on. I mean,
Yeah.
we're starting to get
What a crazy pod
like
that would be.
I know, right? It might be
I
organized.
want to save the other two things for next week.
Okay,
We got
cool.
we got a decent pod this week.
We've been running pretty
And-
long, so
Well,
I
the
mean-
Last Dance is done, and other than another UFC fight next Saturday, there won't be much else to talk about. So,
there might be some news. I mean, I know they're trying to
Yeah,
rush basketball.
but what we
baseball,
have
football.
here, it could be an episode in all its own. So whatever comes new, we just tack on.
All right, I like it, man.
We'll have to have social media chronicles soon, though. That got me all amped up. Because, dude, I've seen some really cool shit like that. I'm like, damn, that would be some good content.
Well, I'll be honest. Sometimes I send you things, and I'm just like, let's see how he responds, because I'm just like, maybe that might be a conversation that we need to have.
Yeah.
And apparently, I'm not finding good enough
Well,
stuff.
no, that's not necessarily. It's dependent though, man. Sometimes we see something, we're like, oh shit, that's interesting, and we like it, but we don't
Yeah.
comment because it's not the
Yeah.
right time. So it's situational, but
Yo, I'm
But
trying
no,
to win
that's
you
why
that
we should
jersey.
do that.
I went and loved. I fucking
fuck
hearted.
yeah. What if
I
I only
heart-
had one post? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Follow. I'm trying to get me a jersey. I want that Tua jersey, baby.
Yeah, I thought that I hit the fucking like your comment, like their fucking comment.
Oh,
Fucking went-
so
Follow them.
Yeah.
With, and if they listen, Proficient Fans, shout out, gang.
Yep.
What's the page's name? Show them some, because like, I'm trying to win you this jersey.
shit, I don't. I can't
No,
guess it.
don't say I don't go. I got you. It's FB all takes. So football all takes. It sounds
Yeah.
like it's
F
what
ball
they're going
takes.
for.
F ball. Oh, football. I was thinking F ball takes. Football takes.
Yeah. So it's F ball takes.
Yeah, it is. Because if you go to their page, it's F ball space takes.
They got about 29,000 followers.
Yo,
29,500
Reason
followers.
I like these, I love the ones that show you like a formation with their colleges, and you have to guess what team it is. You got this one, CB? Right on the YouTubes. I'm throwing you out there.
No.
Let me take a look. I haven't done this one either. That has to be.
I don't think I personally followed
If
them,
I had to
though.
take a guess, I'm gonna say this has to be the Packers because Aaron Rodgers went to Cal. Green Bay Packers. Woo! That was the only thing that gave it away, though. I don't know.
I did follow him. Like I said, I was trying to fucking catch you a
Yeah.
win.
All right, so I got a question for you. What Michigan receiver plays for the Packers right now? They got they got that Scandalous Valdez.
Isn't the kid that used to
then-
play in Carolina?
Oh, Devin Funchess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot he got traded. Yeah, or not traded, but signed. Yeah, I totally forgot about Funchess with the Packers. That's definitely who it is, 100%.
And we're gonna check.
No, it's got to be. It's got to be. I know Funchess is a Packer because he's on my Dynasty League. I can't wait to
Yeah.
sit his fucking ass.
Yeah. Packers.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. I'm not good with the fucking.
Yeah. Well, and
Uh,
to be even more fair, he is new to the Packers this year, so that was a
yeah.
solid call out on your end.
My buddy who's the commissioner of that dynasty league I'm in, he hit me
Excuse
up. He's just like I said he's trying to trade me, and he's like,
Hold up.
yeah, I'm a.
Do we want to save this content for next week?
Oh, this one's a quick story.
Oh, okay.
It's
Go
just a
ahead.
little quick story. Yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing crazy. So he hit me up. He's just like he said trying to get a trade, and he's just like, hey, I was like, yo, had declined. He's like, so I take it that you are going running back for your number one pick and not Burrows. And I was just like, well, it's not really decided, but I'm shooting for I got an idea what I want. I need my draft picks. And he's just like, all right, cool. He's like, well, I'm sorry. He's like, I'm just a non-essential. So he's like, I'm sitting here bored out of my ass. So I'm sending text. He's like, I'm sending trades to everybody.
Bro, hey, even the essential motherfuckers are doing that. I had 5 pending trades during work today that I was dealing with. Multi-team trades on some of them too, bro. I can't wait to tell you about them next week.
He was trying to, and then he hit me back with like, I'll take your 2.01, and I was just like, I'm good player, man. Like, look, man, I think I told you how I was trying to draft, and I made
a trade before the draft even started. I got rid of Le'Veon.
Yeah, I saw that, man. You sent me that. I was like, oh, okay.
Dude, I'm done. All right. We're saving content. So for the Ben Greens out there, the Adam Jacksons that are listening, and all you other scrubs who need sound fantasy advice.
Hey, Adam Jackson, I want some of that money because I made a trade. And my name needs to be a sub under your fucking name on that
Adam
trophy
Jackson,
right now.
Don't give him shit because CB hasn't even paid me for my back-to-back championship yet.
First off, you always bring that shit up, but everybody knows that I paid day of draft.
Hey, don't talk about money unless you paying people their money. That's
which is kind of crazy because I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to. I'm probably gonna have to fucking shoot you the money.
If I were 50 Cent, I'd be breaking your fucking kneecaps.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna find a hotel. I'm gonna rent it out for you and Lance and everybody I don't know. And I'm gonna fucking have you guys just live up in that motherfucker for 14 days. That way I can know we can do a live draft together.
Oh shit!
You dirty sons of bitches. Right. Look, man, y'all single.
Well, that's not true. As long as the bars are open, I'll social distance myself from you.
Look, listen, motherfucker. Like, here's the thing: is like, I gotta think about like you single dudes, right? Y'all probably got the Tinder slapping skins. I don't know how it works, but I'm sure fucking bellies are flapping and guts are getting rotted. All right, so like, you can try to tell me all you want, man. I know what time it is. Come on, man.
You just gotta keep your mask on.
I know, doggy style. Yo. Oh, speaking of doggy style, if you haven't watched Bert Kirshner, do you watch comedies? Do you watch stand-ups?
Not really, but
okay, no, really. You're gonna watch Bert Kirshner's Hey Big Boy on Netflix, and you're gonna watch Tom Sawyer.
Text him to me. Text him after the pod.
Oh man, I'm telling you what, fucking hilarity.
All I know is I'm trying to go to an Andrew Schulz concert. I'm so glad you put me on him. He is fucking hilarious.
Come on,
That's
man.
my kind of comedy.
You think I found some bullshit? I found some bullshit? That dude is serious about his, man. That dude is fucking funny. Yeah.
Constantly crossing the line, but that's my kind of comedy, bro. I think I could do a show like that. Fucking rip people apart in the fucking band out there in the crowd.
Here's the thing: is like, if you ever listen to Joe Rogan, you'll hear him talk about Andrew Schulz. And you know why he talks about Andrew Schulz? Because Andrew Schulz is a fucking he has sat there and sat back. He watched the way the world was unfolding, right? Everybody's a fucking tulip. I don't want to offend you. I don't want to offend you. I don't want to offend you. And then they try to say, oh, comedians, we're going to fucking, no, you can't say this. That's the reason why a guy, what's it called? What's his Instagram name? The Bearded Pal.
What are you talking about?
Mike Barger.
Oh yeah. Yep.
The Bearded Pal, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's something like that.
I want to give his right stuff out.
So you want to give out his actual Instagram name? Is that what you're saying?
It's public, I think.
Your bearded pal.
Your bearded pal. He's a guy that we both know, comedian, and when he was sitting there running shit and he's talking, he's like, I don't know. I'm like, if you have to say I don't know, that's a joke you should fucking say.
Yeah.
I've definitely bought into Andrew Schultz's philosophy when it comes to comedians of just not giving a fuck. Say what you got to say. Don't be scared. You're a fucking comedian. Your job is to make light of a fucking dark subject. And
Carefully. You still got to be careful, and he does a great job of it, though.
Well, I mean, but the thing is you also got to know who he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, personally.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, like,
when you go in, like, comedy night for amateurs, you gotta, I'm just saying, man, like, he says what he says now because he fucking tours the country. Like, there's still a come up.
He toured out of country before he toured in the country.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. Like, he found his pop was overseas. He jumped overseas, fucking boom, boom, boom. His boy Alex, who does a lot of the fashion.
Yeah, dude, I love those.
Alex Media. He actually got arrested on tour with Andrew Schultz and was in Switzerland. And was in jail for a couple months, prison there for a couple months.
All right. Long story short, Andrew Schultz. Check him out, guys.
Check Andrew Schultz out.
Hilarious.
Check out Bert Kirshner. His stand up on Netflix is hilarious, as well as Tom Segura, who I didn't get a chance to talk about, but we are running along. Guys, we're out. Wrap it up, B. Thank you again for joining us for episode number 84. We're out. Peace.
Take care.